still plenty of reasons to play Cyberpunk 2077. I'm Griff, this is Gaming with Griff Griffin, and here are 6 more fun things you can try in the game. Okay, so the first thing you can do in Cyberpunk 2077 that you couldn't do at launch is play as the original V. This is the guy you saw in the trailers, and on the buses, and on the billboards. For some reason, he was just a placeholder, and there was no option to play as him, despite him looking cool. That is, until this mod came along. The mod turns your character into the exact same V as the promotional materials. To do so, you need to download both this mod and the Save Editor mod. The Save Editor is a program that lets you change the appearance of your existing character, so you don't have to start from the beginning. Just load your save, then load the file for V, and save. When you go into your game, you'll look like V. That is, aside from the clothes. To get those, you have to track them down yourself. Or if you can't be bothered, like me, you can always just cheat. To get the iconic jacket, t-shirt, and shades in your game, it's just a matter of downloading the Cyberpunk cheat console from Nexus Mods, then opening the cheat console in-game, then inputting the codes for the items. I've put all the item codes you'll need in the description. While the whole customizing your character thing is ultimately pretty pointless in a game where you rarely see your character, there's nothing stopping you playing in third person, if you can stomach your body occasionally disappearing. Click the link above for my guide to modding third person into your game. The next thing to try in Cyberpunk is unlimited slow motion. Now, some of you might already know about this build, but I completed the game ages ago and I had no idea you could do this until recently. Essentially, by using the right combination of cyberware, you can give your character an endlessly regenerating source of slow motion. Here's how you do it. First, you'll need these attributes. And for the cyberware, you want the following. You get this from the Ripper Doc in Jig Jig Street, known as Fingers. However, there is a point in the story where you have a run-in with him. If you choose to punch him in this scene, you'll lock yourself out of being able to buy stuff from him.
My jaw. You I don't trust.
So when you get the chance, don't punch him, even though he looks like he could use one. If you have already punched him, the only other way to get this piece of cyberware is to use the cheat console. Again, the item code is in the description. The next piece of cyberware you need is the legendary rarity Kareznikov. You can buy this one from the Arroyo Ripper Doc. After that, you need the epic rarity Nano Relay, which you can get from the Badlands Ripper Doc. You also need the legendary rarity Bioconductor, also from the Badlands Ripper Doc. And finally, you need 3 epic Sandy Vistan heatsinks. To get these, you need to buy the crafting spec for the Sandy Vistan heatsink mod from the Ripper Doc in Arroyo, then craft heatsinks until you get 3 epic ones. It's all pretty straightforward. Once you've got these pieces of cyberware slotted in, you're ready to slow time. Just hold the LB and RB buttons on controller and you'll get 15 seconds of slow-mo with a cooldown of 3 seconds. While it's cooling down, you can use the slow-mo function of your legendary Kareznikov. To trigger this, just aim while you're sliding or dodging. By the time you've used this, the other slow-mo cooldown will have elapsed, and you can just keep chaining both together endlessly. I like using this with sticky grenades. Just slow time, plant a sticky grenade on an enemy or civilian, then whip out your shotgun and blow it up. Also, if you've got mantis blades, that's also a good time. What's really nice about unlimited Cyberpunk slow-mo is you're entirely playing within the rules of the game. It's not even cheating, unless you've used the cheat console. Now now we're coming to one of my favourite things to do in Cyberpunk. Just before we get into that though, drop me a quick like and prevent me going on any more murderous slow motion rampages. Thank you in advance. Okay, on to the Freecam mod. This does what any good Freecam does and lets you fly around the world like a bird. But a bird that can pass through walls. A ghost bird. Freecamming around Night City is great if you want to explore every single corner of the world. I don't know about you, but I feel like I didn't really get a sense of the scale just from playing the game as intended. But using the Freecam mod, I could finally see just how massive it really is. There's the city itself, then you've got the Badlands, and you've got the huge solar panel array. There's so much to it. And you can have an up-close look at things you weren't meant to get up close to. Here's the stadium. Kind of ruined for me a bit now, but there we go. Here's the flying things. Here are the weird buildings in the sea. Here's what happens when you fly through a window. I don't know what I expected, in all honesty. And here's me getting unreasonably close to some holographic adverts. You can download the Freecam mod from Nexus Mods. Just search Freecam. If nothing else, the Freecam is always useful to have, just in case the game glitches and you get stuck in some scenery. Which, in Cyberpunk, is always a danger. Once you're up here, there's only one way down. The next new thing you can do in Cyberpunk is experience its incredible ray tracing. That's because one mod has made the frame rate cost of using ray tracing a whole lot less. So if you've been turning all those lovely RTX effects off in efforts to keep the frame rate playable, just download this mod and you'll get a smoother performance. The creator says while you're using RTX with this mod enabled, you'll get anywhere from 5 to 15 extra frames. That means you can crank up the reflections and see the world staring back at you in all of your shiny clothes. Ray tracing also does wonders for car windows, giving them staggeringly smooth real-time reflections. The mod itself is simple to download. Just head to Nexus Mods again, download it using Vortex, then install it within the Vortex mod manager like you do with all your mods. Keep in mind that this mod just boosts frame rates when using RTX reflections. It has no effect on RTX lighting or RTX shadows. To be honest though, out of the three, reflections are the most noticeable. So I'm glad I can finally wear my favourite latex Netrunner suit without the game crashing. Another thing you can do in Cyberpunk 2077 when you feel like you've exhausted all of your options is photography. At launch, the photography mode was locked to your player, so there was no way to get a wide-angle shot. But combined with the Freecam mod, the photography mode is finally free of its restrictions. It's one thing taking pics as you play, but it's another thing entirely when you set out specifically to take the most amazing pics possible. For instance, a nice little tip to make your photos pop is using your muzzle flash as an alternative light source. It's how all the pros do it. Another thing I recommend is making save files of all your favourite locations so you can warp there and start taking pics quickly. There's one place in Night City where it rains continuously. You can use this location to get some moody, rain slick shots. Fun fact, it's actually a reference to Blade Runner. Or if you want to recreate the famous Cyberpunk marketing pic of V standing in front of his car, head to this spot, near Judy's apartments. The Cyberpunk community is responsible for some of the most amazing video game photography I've ever seen. So much so that here's a little montage. The final fun thing you can try in Cyberpunk 2077 is a straight up hacker build. This gives you the powers of a hacking god, able to cause enemies to shoot themselves in the head, detonate grenades in their hands, make them start attacking everyone around them, or just instantly fall over dead. Like with the slow motion build, some players might already be familiar with this hacking build, but if you're not, it's definitely worth giving a go. Here's how to do it. First, you'll need quick hacks. The ping quick hack lets you locate and tag enemies, so you can sneak around snapping necks. Reboot optics, meanwhile, lets you blind enemies, so use it when they spot you and you can get back to snapping necks. Develop the hacking build further and you don't even need to get your hands dirty. You can stay hidden and use security cameras to apply quick hacks without exposing your position. A few examples of fun quick hacks to try are Overheat, which applies burn damage over time, Short Circuit, which applies EMP damage and is useful against mechanical enemies, Suicide, which makes an enemy kill themselves, Contagion, which spreads poison to 2 nearby targets, Cripple Movement, which is self-explanatory, Cyber Psychosis, which makes enemies turn on each other, and Weapon Glitch, which jams their weapons. Just crouch in a corner and cause absolute havoc. You can take your hacking prowess to another level with the legendary cyber deck Tetratonic Rippler Mark IV. Did I say that right? I think I did. It reduces cooldowns by 75%, and you can get it here. As for how to spec your character, you'll want to put your first 20 points into intel, then the next 20 into stealth, so you can have all those crit perks for your combat hacks. But honestly, just putting all your points into intel is fine, because covert hacking is, in my opinion, the safest way of wiping out crowds of enemies. Even the most high-level AI can't do a thing against an invisible opponent who can see through walls. So those were 6 fun new things you can try in Cyberpunk 2077. If you've already tried these things, then let me know in the comments what other stuff you like doing in Cyberpunk, since you're such an expert. Whether it's discovering mods, trying new builds, or making your own fun, there's still loads of stuff to get up to in Night City. Hopefully this has given you a few reasons to jump back into the game. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, hit that like button, and goodbye.